Okay, good afternoon. Thank everybody for being here. I would like to thank everyone for attending. Um, so before we go ahead and get started, I would like to introduce Miss Melinda Elliott. She is going to introduce everyone to LaCan. So go ahead, Miss Melinda, and introduce everyone to LaCan.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Type like a one in the chat box if you can hear
Yes,
me.
we can hear.
You sure? Because I can barely hear you guys. Thanks, China. My name's Melinda Elliott. I'm the LaCan team leader for Region 5. LaCan stands for the Louisiana Council's Advocacy Network. I work 5 parishes: Beauregard, Allen, Calcasieu, Cameron, and Jeff Davis, just like the Families Helping Families Center does. My main goal is to connect people to their legislators. Every year we have a legislative agenda, and we're already at the point where we're collecting information for the 2025 legislative agenda. I have some pretty good things on my list, but I'm looking for more. I am sure if Wallace hasn't already dropped the membership link for LaCan, he will, and he will drop the link to the flyer and the registration for the community input meeting. So we work with families that have a member with a developmental disability and families that have a child in special education. So you might have ideas about what will make the system work better if you have a loved one with a developmental disability, or might make their health care work better, or might make their employment work better. And then children in special education, a little bit more tricky. It has to be something that already is covered under the law. But we've worked on things like the April Dunn Act for students with significant disabilities to be able to graduate with a diploma that means something, right? We've worked on restraints and seclusions and policies around that. We've done a variety of things. So if you have some ideas, or even if you'd just like to listen, please sign up in that link to attend the meeting. Yeah, I have a few questions I'll be asking and looking for people for some kind of consensus. But this is what I do. I get people's input on what they think will make the service system work better. And then some of those people are going to want to tell their story, and I help them develop their story. So I'm not just going to throw you out there and say, write it down. And some people are going to, every year I have a roundtable. I have a legislative roundtable, and I have to say our delegation in this area is a great group. They show up. Senator Stein co-hosted with us last year, so hopefully he will again this year. And we have a presentation, and then people tell their stories. They tell their testimony. So we make legislative visits every year. So I try to get constituents to go with me on these visits, so I can link you up with your legislator. And then, of course, some people, not a lot, but a few, are going to go to Baton Rouge and they're going to tell their story. If any of this sounds interesting, or if you have any ideas, please come to my meeting or contact me. I work at the Families Helping Families office. You know, it's free. When you sign up, you're signing up to get emails. Of course, there will be action alerts in those emails for some of you to be able to voice your opinion one way or the other. But yellow shirt days. Anyhow, it's lots of fun. And if there aren't any questions, because I believe the people in the chat box is Wallace making sure y'all stay connected. Yes, thank you, Wallace. So if there aren't any other questions, chat me up in the chat box or catch me later. I appreciate every one of y'all. And back to you, China.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Melinda. All right. So, I would like to thank everybody again for being here, just to let you know that you are in the correct place. This webinar is baking in the sun. So, we're going to try and stay healthy in these summer months. So, I would like to welcome Miss Sharmita Rideau. She is our special guest today from Lake Charles. She is a health and fitness guru. Today, she will be sharing her expert opinion on how to maintain our health during these hot and summer months. She would like our webinar to be interactive. So please, we will try to unmute your line so that if you have a question, you can kind of raise your hands, and we'll let you go ahead and ask your questions and give you the opportunity to discuss those issues with Sharmita. Wallace is assisting me today with this webinar. We will send out the survey links and give out certificates if needed at the end of the session. So with that said, we're going to give our full attention and help me welcome Miss Sharmita to our webinar. So go ahead, Miss Sharmita.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, China and Families Helping Families, for having me on today. This is really something that I haven't done in a while, and I was so ecstatic to be able to come speak to you guys. Just a little bit about me. Yes, I was in fitness and still am in fitness, but really on the health side as far as working out and living a healthy lifestyle for over 20 years. And I had children, so that had to kind of take a back burner to getting a real job, is what they call it. So yeah, now I am the facility manager at Ward 3 Recreation, the natatorium, the pool. So natatorium is the pool. And so there I help with living a healthy lifestyle for recreation. I am a wife of 16 years to Mr. Kevin Rideau, and I have 3 boys that are very active in sports and are great student athletes. 3 boys, 17, 13, he's almost 14, and 10 years old. So we stay busy. So she wanted me to talk about baking in the sun. Of course, we are in Louisiana, in the South, and the sun is real, right? It's not hiding, it's not faking that it wants to come out. We have it all the time. Yeah, we had some good rain this morning, and you know what? We need that rain, and I'm so glad we did get that rain out the way, and now we have a nice sunny day. So she wanted me to talk about just staying healthy, and when I think about that word healthy, I think all around. So not just by the fitness aspect. I am a wife of a man that works in the refineries, so he's always outside, right? I'm a mom of athletes where we're always in the stands, and he's always in practice, or they're always somewhere where we have to do a lot of maneuvering. Also, being a family, we want to take those family trips, maybe to the beach, like we don't have enough sun. We want to go to the beach. We want to go to the swimming pools outdoors and things like that, just to stay active. So I wanted to kind of just touch bases and on just staying healthy, as a whole, not just in fitness, but as a whole. So I'm going to take that word healthy, and please write down notes. I did not have any kind of PowerPoints to go over. I do want you guys to make sure you ask questions. If I don't know how I'll be able to see that, but if China, if you can help with that, moderate that for me, it'd be great. So we're going to start with the word healthy and the letter H. So I thought about the letter H in healthy, and I think for a mom and for families, and even if it's dads or grandparents, whatever it is, we have to have a course of action. So our H stands for having a course of action when we're going out in the sun. So we bake well, right? So we're well done and really prepared for what we have coming up. So I thought about that, when we're getting ready to go outside, as a mom, I have to plan my day. Do I do it right all the time? Of course not. I always miss something, right? So having a course of action, plan the day. Are you going to a place that has coverage? Are you going to a place where you're just going to be under the sun? You have to prepare yourself with the equipment that you need. So like I work in the pools, right? And because of the storms, we don't have any kind of coverings over. They're still trying to get all of that situated. So we prepare our clients and our customers to come in with knowing that they need hats, knowing that they need umbrellas, coming in with the purpose of, okay, I'm coming in and I'm going to be prepared for wherever I am in this sun. There may be parents on here or people on here who have to attend games. You want to make sure you're covered, having umbrellas, making sure that when you're sitting in the stands, that metal, the heat that's coming off of the metal, that you are prepared with the clothing that you're wearing. You don't want to go out. My baby boy, he tells me all the time, Mom, white, he says white absorbs heat. No, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. He says white reflects heat and black absorbs heat. So he makes sure that when we go to these events that we don't wear darker clothing. You would like to wear darker clothing because you don't want to get so many tans and things like that. But he told me, and I'm sticking by it, that white reflects. So we wear lighter clothing. So in that, have a plan of action when you are going outside in this heat. Know what you're going into. Don't, my kids all the time, Mom, let's go so-and-so, so-and-so. I Google it, I look it up, I figure out where it is, what's around, what's my environment. If there is a situation, where can I go? If we get too hot and things like that. So that's number one. Plan, guys. That is the hardest thing for me to do because I'm really not an organized person. Like I'm fly by night, I'm spontaneous, I'm gonna have it ready when it's time. But being that I want to stay healthy in the sun, I gotta have a course of action. 2, let's go to E. E is a very important thing for us to do because I know all of us don't want to walk around drinking water bottles all the time or having these cute Stanley cups, walking around full of water. So what I've learned is to eat my water, right? We have to eat our water. What are the foods that are most important to consume when you're going to these places that you've planned to go to? So when you're planning, when you have your course of action, when you're planning, you want to stock up on things that will help hydrate and keep you cool, So the different foods that I think are the best are your fruits, of course. And in the heat, with my husband being in the refineries, he does not like to eat. He does not like to eat during that time because packing on so much, makes them feel more sluggish. So you have to be prepared with fruits, with vegetables. And I know that we all know this. I hope I'm here to just push you a little bit more into making those changes, or putting more into your lifestyle with these things. So strawberries, pineapples, oranges. Let me see. I think strawberries have 90% of a strawberry is water, you know. For a watermelon, I think it's 96%. Yeah, 92% for a watermelon. For cranberries, you have 86. Oranges, you have 87. Pineapple, 87. So these things are great to pack. Now, we all know that grocery bills are pretty high. So it is the hardest thing to get the things that we really need financially in our refrigerators, right? So I just say, hey, take a step with doing frozen. Go to your frozen food section, grab those. Those are more likely, they're going to be cheaper, and they're frozen already. So it helps when you're putting them in your cooler, that it's already frozen and ready for you guys to consume whenever you get to the place, whether it be a beach or the game days. That baseball is going on, World Series for Little League, all of that is going on. So you've got to be prepared to eat your fruits also, and your vegetables. Spinach is high in water content, celery, cucumbers, red and green tomatoes. Making a good salad with some Italian dressing or some vinaigrette, or maybe just some ranch. The kids love to dip everything in ranch. I know mine do. They cover everything in ranch. So, bring those things. Spinach has 96% water in it, and cucumbers 96%, and green and red tomatoes 96%. So instead of carrying around a lot of things, you pack up you some fruit and vegetables and get ready to indulge in that, because you're going to have long days, right? And we'll talk about that later, but you're going to have long days there where you need to make sure that the kids or yourself are eating correctly, making sure that you're not filling yourself up too much, because that can cause, sickness if you're eating too heavy in the heat. So first one is having a course of action, which leads into, okay, in my course of action, what am I using to fuel myself and give myself hydration? And I'm going to pack that up whenever it's time for us to move out into the heat. Thirdly, we're going to go to A. We're going to take A two ways. One way, living a healthy lifestyle in fitness. So a lot of us, I think that all of us here are from the Lake Charles, Westlake, Southwest Louisiana area. The great thing about Southwest Louisiana area is that we have accessible recreation. So that's what our A is. Having accessibility, finding those places that you can go in fitness that is covered, and you don't have to be outside on the walking tracks, or outside doing your aerobics, or outside. Maybe it could be 90 something degrees, but feels like 110. You don't want to always be out in that heat. So where are the places that you can go and it be accessible for you and your family to have workout inside of a building, in air conditioned every now and then, right? So I'm not saying anybody is any better in the recreation business, but I know that Lake Charles Recreation, Ward 3, has 4 facilities that you can go into. If you live in Lake Charles, you have a discounted rate for the walking track. You have discounted rate for using their facilities. In Westlake, where we live, it's actually free for us. Have I made excuses many times? Yes, I have made excuses many times not to go to Westlake. Oh, people are gonna talk. Everybody knows everybody. We don't want to. I don't want to go there and talk all day. I want to go work out, or I just don't have the time because I'm a busy mom and all of that. Yes, I've made those excuses, and some of them sometimes are valid. It's valid, but we have to have a course of action, plan when you can go. So now I picked up pickleball. I don't know if you've tried it, but I have really enjoyed learning and playing pickleball. Pickleball now is in Ward 3 Recreation. It's at Lake Street, it's at Trinity, it's at Eastwood, it's here in Westlake. I'm not sure if Sulphur has, their recreation has it as well, but pickleball is something that has gotten my mind off of actually working out. I sweat. I love going. Let me tell you, and it's my age. I'm 43. It's my age and older mostly, and then it's a younger age. So if you're able to move like that, find a place where it doesn't feel so chorish, I guess, to go work out. Find something inside and find a place that's accessible for you to go work out at. You can beat the heat and you don't have to bake in the sun and still get a workout. Finding these places around your neighborhoods. Also, when I say accessible, I want you to know that your home is a great place for activities, right? So you don't have to go outside. We have so much on social media, on YouTube, on these places where we could put in, hey, I want to walk 10 miles today, or I want to walk a mile today. Leslie Sampson has great Walk Away the Pounds on TV. You can do that in your own home by using her videos. It's so many more free videos out there that we can access. But it just all stems down to if you want to do that, and that was me, like, okay, it's time to get back into moving, but I don't want it to feel like a chore. So I'm making the decision to find what's accessible for me to be able to go out and stay healthy and not bake in the sun at that point of time. You know what I'm saying? So I say that, and when I'm sorry. Also, for accessibility, when you are going to the beach, when you are going to the pool, when you are going to the outdoor events, maybe family events, family things that's going on, find out where it is and find out if there is a place that's accessible if you feel like you're getting too hot. You need to know, okay, if there's a building that we can go into, that's where the course of action comes in, planning that day. So if they say, hey, we have a football 7-on-7 tournament at this place, is there what's around there? Is there bathrooms that I can go into? Have that course of action and know, hey, I don't have to sit out in the sun forever. Let me find a place that either my child can go into or I can go into if I'm starting to feel a little funny. You know what I mean? So yeah, so we're going to start with having a course of action. We're going to eat our water, and then we're going to find things that's accessible for our lifestyles that we don't have to actually bake in the sun and be on a healthy journey. Next, we're going to go to L. So yeah, we're going to go to L. L is, yes, if you have any questions, please let me know. And Mr. Wallace, I don't see it, or China, I don't see if there's any questions. So I don't know if you guys will chime in if there is. But L, let's go to L. Listen to your body. Many times people fail to listen to their bodies and overwork themselves. I fuss at my husband all the time when he comes home with headaches because he did not eat while he was at work. And now you've been in the sun, in the heat all day, and you come home and your head is hurting. It's because you don't have enough water. Well, and they probably drink water all day, but you're sweating so much that that water can't keep up as much as you think it could, you know? So you have to make sure you listen to your body. You have to take a step off. You have to tell your bosses. You have to tell your coach, the kids' coaches, or you have to tell your own self, okay, enough is enough. I need to take a step back and do what I need to do to make sure that I am healthy in this situation. Just because I normally run 3 miles in 80-degree weather does not necessarily mean I can run 3 miles in 100-degree weather. So you have to listen to your body. You have to know that in extreme temperatures, the body reacts differently, right? So whenever we go to different gyms to play pickleball, I can only, talk about my experiences. Some gyms are hotter than the others. If I'm playing in a hotter gym, I play maybe 3 games. If I'm playing in a cooler gym, I get about 5, 6 games in there. So I know that I have to listen to my body, and I'm not failing in what I'm doing. It's just I'm taking care of myself and making sure that myself and my family are well taken care of in this extreme heat. So listen to your body, everybody. So we got to make sure we have a course of action. We got to eat our water. Frozen fruits are really good for that. Don't forget that. And then we got to find accessibility on how we can live a healthy lifestyle. If there's indoor activities that we can do. Also, if we're at any events, what is accessible to us to make sure that we are not overheated in that aspect. And then listen to our bodies, making sure that we take care of what we need to when we're out there. When you're in extreme temperatures, we have to make sure that we know the signs of overheating, not eating, overheating. So you know that overheating can lead to heat strokes, can lead to dizziness, fainting. These are your signs: dizziness, fainting, heavy sweating. Or if you feel cool with goosebumps and heat, those are the things that you need to watch out for. But we hope that we do the other things that I've listed and we don't even get into that situation. But if you do, fatigue, weak, rapid pulse, low blood pressure when you're standing, and muscle cramps. We see this in kids all the time. Kids do not hydrate as well as they should, especially if they're athletes, and they always are getting cramps. Muscle cramps are a sign of overheating, overexertion. So you want to make sure that you listen to your body. If you feel these things, you need to get help ASAP before you become dehydrated, before you pass out and faint, before you do those things. If you take the plan that I said, the other letters before, hopefully we wouldn't even get to that problem. We can prevent those things from happening. Okay. All right, we're down to the last 3 letters. Let's go to T. I'm going to say T is time. So when we're planning and having our course of action, we go to time. How long will we be at the event? How long is the event scheduled for? Is it just a spontaneous day and we're going to the beach? How long should I be there? Well, yeah, your temperature outside, it definitely takes precedence in, what you're going to do, right? So if I know that it's 100 degrees outside, I know that I need umbrellas, I need hats, I need fruits, I need water. I need to know how long we're going to be out there, right? So we can't let the kids talk us into staying at the beach forever, because the longer you're outside, the worse things can get, right? So make sure that you have a course of action and be mindful of, I don't need to stay out here every day. I hopefully I have another day if we want to come out that I can go ahead and that I can go ahead and come back, right? So time, you don't want to spend over 2 hours in direct sunlight. You don't want to spend uh, without having water, without having um, your fruits and your hat and your covering. You don't want to, or your accessibility to places to get out of the sun. Direct sun is very dangerous. So you want to make sure you limit your time. Don't let your kids talk you into, Mom, let me swim one more time, or let me get a dive in one more time, or Dad, no, Dad, let's do this, let's flip. No, I know I'm talking about in pool situations. You want to make sure that you take care of your families and make sure that everybody is safe, and understand that the sun is not someplace that we need to be all day long. A lot of things happen at water parks because the more you move, which is something that I'm going to say next, but the more you move in the sun, the more the body gets fatigued, the more the body takes a whooping, right? So as you're sliding down those slides or playing in the water, or swimming, whatever it may be, the body is taking a whooping, So you want to make sure that if you're going to a water park, time it out. Even if it's, hey, we're going to be here for an hour and a half. We're going to go get lunch. We're going to go take a walk somewhere else inside, maybe a mall or something, and then we'll come back. Get a day pass. That way you can have time. The best thing for you, too, is doing stuff earlier in the mornings and later in the evenings, right? So you don't want to, if the sun is right on top of you at high noon, yeah, that's the worst time for you to be outside. Do they have events going on at that time? Of course they do. But that's where you have to make your plans. You have to bring the things you need to stay hydrated, to make sure you have a place if you need to go in and duck off, out of that sun for a little bit. Okay, so we got having a course of action. We're going to eat our water. We want to have accessibility to different things, whether it be fitness indoors. If we need just a little time indoors, if we're at an event, we want to make sure that things are accessible for us. We want to listen to our bodies to make sure that we're not getting overheated. And then we want to make sure that we set our times perfect for making sure that we do not get ourselves into a position where we're having to go to the hospital because the sun has cooked and baked us well. What they say, there's medium well, and yeah, they don't like to have their steaks well, so we're going to take medium well. We don't want to be well, right? Okay. Next is hydrate. So I already talked about eating our food. So we're going with the H, another H. We eat our water, right? With the different foods and things like that. Well, our body is made of between 45 to 75% water. That ranges because, you have a smaller kid or a bigger adult. When you go into the anatomy, it's about the fatty tissues, the muscle, and all of that kind of stuff. Well, we're just going to keep it simple. Between 45 to 75% of water is what our body is made of, right? So if we're outside and we're perspiring and water is coming out of our body, that means we have to replenish it. And that's hydration, right? So we don't want to try to hydrate ourselves only when we're there. The best way to prevent anything from happening is making sure you're hydrated well before you get there, right? So that's taking a lifestyle of eating your water, taking a lifestyle of drinking water on a daily basis, grabbing those Stanley cups and going. I don't have one, y'all. Just want y'all to know I need a Stanley cup, but it's not just that, just at that moment in time where you need to hydrate. If you properly hydrate yourself days before, whatever, or on a daily basis, when you get to a place, you don't have to worry about it. You already know what to do. So taking on hydration for your body type is the best thing that you could do in staying healthy and in the sun, and just period. Water is better than even your Gatorades and your power aids, your body armors, because it's 100% water. They do have alkaline water and pH water. They do have that, but I want to keep it simple and affordable for you. Grab water and drink it daily. If you like to eat ice, that's okay. That's okay. But water, drinking it, a drinking consumption of it is the best way to do that. You need to make sure that this is done, and it will. If you do it on a daily basis, you will prevent dehydration in this sun. If you do it on a daily basis, you will prevent overheating. If you do it on a daily basis, you'll prevent getting into a place of fainting or just not feeling well on a daily basis. Because most of us that feel sluggish throughout the day is because we don't have enough water in our body. It is because of that. So because we are made of 60%, well, 45 to 75%, the average is 60% of water, we need to make sure that we consume it on a daily basis through eating it with the variety of foods that I've explained, and through drinking it. Drinking water versus eating digests quicker. So yes, grab that Stanley cup, grab whatever cup you can to keep it nice and cool when you're going outside, and drink up. There's nothing wrong with drinking. Do we like to drink the water like that all the time? No. And I know the kids don't. I know your children don't. I know mine don't. I have to make them. And some kids, hey, y'all got winters where they like to drink water. Mine, on the other hand, I have to make sure he and it's mainly the baby, drinks water on a daily basis. So let's go over it again. I know you've heard it many times, and I'm trying to just put it in your mind. H, okay, for healthy. We're going to have a plan of action, course of action on what we're going to do that day and how we're going to make sure that we stay healthy and not bake in the sun too much and be well done, right? 2, eat our fruits. Eat our water, which is fruits, which is vegetables, those that are high in water content. Okay, A, accessible, making sure that things are accessible for our lifestyle, whether it be our own fitness or where we're going, to make sure that we can get away from the sun at a certain point of time. HEAL, let's go to L. We have to make sure that we listen to our bodies. If that day you do not feel well, please don't go into the heat. Please don't go into the heat. Stay inside. Think about that as well. Think about how you feel on that day. All right, and T, time. How long are we going to be out there? What are we planning on doing? What does our course of action say? How long the event is, and then knowing that during the time we can find places to go, we make sure we eat and we don't stay there for long periods of time. 8, hydrate. Consume water by drinking, because we are made of 45 to 75% of water. And then lastly, my why. my why for healthy is you. You are amazing. You are important. You're phenomenal. You are the best. And if they, your family, does not have you because you did not prepare and plan, and now you're in a situation where you have to lay in that bed, or you're sick, or you're dehydrated, or you've had a heat stroke, or anything like that, where would they be? I need you to invest in you. So if there's a recreation center around you and there's a low cost for you to go in there and walk their walking track, and we not make an excuse because it's hot outside, go invest in you. If there's a time where you're not feeling well, but you know that the kids want to go somewhere, but you know you're not feeling well, and if you go out in that sun, something may happen. Think about you. You cannot pour into anyone else if you're not right, right? You cannot give of yourself if you're not focused, if you don't have a plan of action, if you don't hydrate, if you don't eat your water, right? If you don't think about you, I have to always, and it's been hard raising 3 kids, understanding that I mentally, emotionally, physically have to take care of myself. If I'm not happy, if I'm not fulfilled, if I'm not putting myself in first place, I cannot take care of them. Is putting yourself in first place selfish? No, it is not. It's actually the best thing you can do for everyone else, right? So you matter. You matter. You are important. And I get emotional thinking about that because I don't want anyone else to raise my children. You know, God forbid that anything happens to me or my husband before they become adults, because they can't raise my children like I would raise them, you know? So I just want you to know that doing these things will help you, and will just planning by themselves. Remember, I said I'm not a good organizer and not planning, but it keeps stress off of you if you go ahead and take that course of action. Have a course of action before you go out in the sun. And just know that everywhere your resources are all on Google or Alexa or Siri. Hey, Siri, can you please give me the foods I need to bring to the beach? She's going to tell you. Hey, Google, let me know what types of umbrellas are best for going out into the stand. They're gonna tell you. You get what I'm saying? So I just say you have to make sure that you are taking care of for you. Okay, so let's end this. I think I'm good with time. So we're gonna end this one more time going through our steps. H, right? Have a course of action. Plan, even if you're the worst planner ever. I am. 2, eat. Eat your water. Pineapples, oranges, strawberries, watermelons, cranberries, peaches, spinach, celery, cucumber, red and green tomatoes. Find how to make them work for you and your family. Full of water. Okay. 8, accessible activities, indoor activities, making sure that if you're outside, is there a place where I can duck off to if I need to just get a little air condition, okay? L, listen to your body. Listen to your body. Make sure that you're not overheating. If you don't feel well, do not go out there. It's not worth it. You can make sure that you take care of how you feel first, right? T, time. We want to make sure in our course of action that we know how long we're going to be at a place, and that we don't get into a place where we're staying in the sun too long. And even with that, I didn't say this, but make sure you bring your sunscreens and things like that to take care of you again, take care of your body as well. Hydrate with drinking water, consuming the water, just pure water, because your body is made up of mostly water, and you want to supply every organ, every muscle, every tendon, everything in your body with the amount of water it needs to function. And lastly, you make sure you take care of you. And again, your resources is Google, is Siri, and is Alexa. Alexa, let's make baking in the sun fun and healthy while we can. I thank you so much for having me. If you have any questions, please let me know. I think I'm giving it back to China. There you go.
Thank you, Miss Sharmita.
You're welcome.
So, do we have any questions? Okay, so I do not see any in the chat box.
Awesome.
So I want to thank Ms. Sharmita for all the good information that she has provided us with. I appreciate everyone for taking time out of their day to be here and attend this webinar. You can find a listing of all of our future webinars on our Facebook page and on our website as well. Wallace, I'm sure, has listed the survey link in the chat box. So if you can take a moment to do the survey, we would appreciate it. And that is the end of our webinar. Thank y'all so much, and yeah, everybody has a good weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.